Welcome, welcome, welcome to a brand new episode of the Being Podcast, a safe space that I've created for us to come together and we encourage and talk about and motivate each other and ways of tweaking if we need to and how we believe, engage, innovate, navigate, and gain in every area of our lives. I am your host, Jada, and as always, I am so grateful that you have joined me for another week, another episode, another moment in time for us to just get together. So if you are new, welcome. If you are still rocking with me, I know I'm going through some transitions, going through some changes, all for the good. I appreciate you and I'm so glad that you're here. So I know it looks a little different. As I said, I'm going through some transitions. I am in a new office here in my home, so I'm excited, but still trying to get it all together. But in that, I thought I would just take a minute, a brief minute, to talk about just being resilient, right? I know I've talked a lot about our mindset, which, everything starts there, right? Where our minds are, our bodies will follow, so on and so forth. But sometimes life is going to life. And I've talked about this before. And so I just wanted to take a moment of, you know, being resilient, being able to, yes, have a plan and sticking to the plan if you can, but then being able to roll with the punches should they come, because they do sometimes, right? And that has definitely been the case for me throughout my life and here recently. And I think that's why I wanted to come and talk about this week in this point in time, because as I said, yes, I used to like try to list it all out, try to stick to kind of like a strict schedule, but then I kind of started flowing like, let's connect. Let's keep it real. Let's keep it honest. Let's keep it, 100. And so as I'm transitioning in the home, as I'm starting to transition a little bit with like my grieving process with my parents, it's really starting to hit me a lot more and different things popping up. So that's a transition for me. And then just with where I'm at in my purpose and my passions, right? And that has really been the catalyst. That's been like the driving force of me coming out here every week and just sharing, just having that purpose and having that passion and dealing with the mind trash of like, is it good enough? Are people listening? Not really falling into that, but just listening and honoring what I feel I've been called to do and just carrying that out and understanding that it may not always go the way that I want it to, but I'm still being obedient. I am still trying. I am still showing up. And so I'm saying all of that to say, if you feel that way, you're not alone. And I always, I kind of reference Atomic Habits, in which, they talk about the 1%, doing 1% better each day. Um, because forward progress is what it's about, right? And we can get stuck. We can let life happen to us and get stuck in that, or we can say, okay, got it. And then how do I turn it around? And I talk about that a lot, right? Like, how do you take that and turn it to be in your favor, for what you need it to be beneficial for you? And in that's being resilient. That's taking it and saying, okay, didn't ask for this, thought it was going to be a little bit different, or didn't see it coming at all, and still being able to take it and say, how do I use that? And what is the meaning behind that? Why is that even coming to me in this point in time? Because a lot of times we think, oh, that's a coincidence, or that was kind of ironic, or whatever word we or phrase we want to spend on it. But really and truly, sometimes it's just that's what it was supposed to be in that time, at that moment, for you to hear a word or see something, or for someone to show up, or for someone to come across your path. Hey, my newbies. Um, but then just taking that and saying, okay, it's here for a reason. So what is that reason? And how do I use it for my good? And not only for my good, but to pour into other people, right? Because that's what it should be about. We're not in this world to go it alone, to hoard things, to be selfish. It's not about that. But how do we use all of that and then turn it around and use it to help somebody else? So with that, I feel like I've been very resilient here lately. Just dealing with life, dealing with still having my 9 to 5, dealing with the coaching, dealing with learning new things and trying to become better and sharper at my calling, still dealing with the relationships, whether it's me and my husband and connecting, and me and my kids, and how do I continue to pour into them. And then for myself, like, how am I honoring myself? So there's so many things that all of us are dealing with. And I think for me, especially, and if this is you, you're again not alone, we will just be like, well, that's how I'm built, or that's what I have to do, or I have no choice, right? That was me even saying, well, no one's going to take care of these kids. I have no choice, And I have people that are like, I really admire when you do this or how you handle this. And I'm thinking, I mean, wouldn't anybody? So this is not to toot my own horn, but this is really for me and for you, if you're this way, to one, acknowledge when people see that, because they are seeing you from a different vantage point than you're seeing yourself, and two, to give yourself some grace and to give yourself a pat on the back and that encouragement, because you are probably doing much better than you think you are. And that comes from, yes, pushing, praying until something happens. Yes, that comes from just grinding it out sometimes, because it's like that. And sometimes it's just, hey, I made a tweak and it made something a little bit easier. And now I'm able to function a little bit smoother, a little bit, with more ease. And that is great too. And so as we're being resilient, as we are, learning and changing things if we need to, stop and appreciate yourself. Appreciate what has been downloaded into you. Appreciate the people that are gathering around you to help prop you up when you need it, and appreciate you being obedient to yourself and to a higher being, if you believe in that, and just doing the work, and then appreciating the outcomes of it. And that is perfectly fine, because that too helps that the momentum and the motivation and the perseverance as you continue to move forward. So I am I'm just excited about what I am able to now stop and do. And that is to really reflect, because I am so busy. My friends are like, oh, another busy day, because that is my life. Yes, I stay busy, but I'm also learning to slow down, to enjoy the moments. Like, my kids will drive me crazy, but I try to remember, like, whether it's something I've seen on social media or friends that have older kids, to say, you know what, I miss the stage you're at now. And it makes me appreciate it. And it makes me say, okay, Jada, take a pause, take a beat, take a breath, as I tell you all, um, and enjoy it, because those moments aren't going to always be there. And like, how does that build, my babies? How does that build me? How does that foster that relationship? And then how does that help somebody else? Because they may look at us and be like, man, I really love the relationship that you have. So everything works together as it should. And I'm just saying, it is okay to slow down, to go fast. It is okay to acknowledge what you've achieved, whether that's being resilient, getting through something that was really tough, or something that you didn't even know you were going to have to face. It is okay to do that. And I challenge you to do that. Don't just take it and say, oh, this is just who I am. This is what I have to do. I mean, yeah, sure, it could be, but just be proud of what you're doing, and allow people to continue to motivate and encourage you, because you're doing great. So that's what I wanted to share this week, and only because I've been kind of crazy too, crazy with all the things. And I just know that as I'm setting things up now, that foundational piece, it's going to help the ease later for things that I know I am being set up to do. So if that is you, I hope you take a nugget from this. I hope that not only are you encouraging yourself, but also encourage somebody else, because you never know what your word, what your actions may do to help the person who's watching you. All right. So with that, I will see you. If you're watching me on the YouTube channel, hey, see you later. If I'm in your ear, I appreciate you, and I will be back next week. All right, y'all.